All right, folks, time for us to go behind the headlines, and we're taking a look at a driving phenomenon, and this is one that has brought a lot of controversy to the stops of people that are busted for marijuana, and this is the so-called green tongue phenomenon. I was turned on to this story that appeared in, I think it was Opposing Views. Let's see where it came from originally. One of the Seattle stations, I believe. And it has to do with a fellow by the name of Mike Simmons. He told Q13 Fox News up there in the Kent, Washington area, he got busted for driving under the influence of marijuana because he had a green tongue. Simmons claimed that the police officer told him that the green film on his tongue was a sign that he was using marijuana. Simmons admitted to using marijuana 3 days earlier, but was sober during the incident. Despite nothing being found in Simmons' car, the police officer claimed his green tongue was probable cause. Simmons denied the police's request for a blood sample and said he wanted a lawyer present for the blood draw. Good move. Under Washington state's new marijuana legalization law, a driver can't have more than 5 nanograms of THC in their blood. Simmons said he was put in jail Tuesday for 13 hours and is now in debt $5,000 for his lawyers and towing fees. Simmons has also been told he cannot drive while out on bail. So we've heard this green tongue phenomenon before, and I just wanted to, and pardon me if you're watching the screen here and this is offensive to you, but I'm going to show you my tongue. All right. Did anybody see a green tongue there? Because I smoke all day, every day, and you see me, you can go through videos and see plenty of me, and I don't think at any time I've exhibited a green tongue, nor have I had any problems crossing my eyes. That's another one they say is an identifying factor. Now, if this green tongue thing sounds familiar and you're a hip hop fan, you may remember that Nas, the rapper, was busted in 2009 for a green tongue. This was he was arrested for a DUI near his Georgia home back in September. According to TMZ, the police report said Nas had a green tongue with raised taste buds and his pulse was raised to 116 beats a minute. The arresting officer says he observed eyelid tremors in both eyes and body tremors. Cops say the car smelled of raw marijuana. Nas told officers he had been smoking weed at his friend's house before he was busted. Nas flunked one of the field sobriety tests, the walking test, by taking the wrong number of steps. So Nas got busted in 2009 with the green tongue. Guess what happened? Nas's DUI case has been administratively dismissed. The reason? Not enough evidence, because his drug test came back negative for drugs, including marijuana. Interesting, especially because Nas admitted to cops he had been smoking weed. So here's a case where he admits he smoked weed. Cops say they got a green tongue. Oh, obviously you must be high. Drug test comes back completely negative on the guy. So what does this green tongue actually mean? We've asked Dr. Mitch Earlywine about this on our show, and he has pointed out that there's nothing in any of the scientific literature to support the idea that the sign of a green tongue means that you've been smoking marijuana. Despite that, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the California Highway Patrol both train their officers and in their documentation. This is something from NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. These are the following characteristics of a marijuana DUI, according to the government. Odor of marijuana in the car or on subject's breath. Marijuana debris in mouth. I guess if you're, got a crappy pipe, no screen, badly rolled joint, you might have some speck, something. Or maybe they're eating it when they get caught. Okay, whatever. Green coating of tongue, bloodshot eyes, body and eyelid tremors, relaxed inhibitions, incomplete thought processes, and poor performance on field sobriety tests. So our government is saying that there's this green tongue that's indicative of a marijuana DUI with no science whatsoever to back that up. All right, so criminal defense lawyers have attacked this, of course, and I found this one lawyer's blog. It's gramlawyerblog.com, and this is something they found as far as how this has been handled in courts so far. It's a pretty new area of litigation, so there's not a lot of cases on this, but in Washington, the very same state, Kent, Washington, where this guy has been busted for green tongue, the Washington Court of Appeals questioned whether a green tongue establishes probable cause for anything. The court agreed with the defense lawyer that no probable cause existed, explaining, quote, Trooper Lane, that would be the cop named Lane who busted somebody, right? Trooper Lane contends that a green tongue is indicative of recent marijuana use. Even assuming he is correct, the absence of any other indicators of recent marijuana usage, combined with the many innocuous ways to get a green tongue, Jolly Ranchers, anybody? Indicate a lack of reasonable suspicion. Although we assume the officer's assertion to be true for the purposes of this opinion, because, cops wouldn't lie, we are nevertheless skeptical as to its accuracy. We find no case stating that recent marijuana usage leads to a green tongue. The only case we could find that remotely supports such a proposition is State v. Beatty from 2000, wherein the opinion's fact section mentions that the defendant, who had admitted to recent marijuana usage, also had a green tongue. Beyond this observation, however, the court never analyzes whether the green tongue and the recent marijuana usage are linked, and the officer who made the observation does not assert a connection between the two. So that's Washington State. And the DRE, the drug recognition expert, Trooper Lane, the cop, had written, he had raised taste buds on the back of his tongue and a green coating on his tongue. His lips were burnt and crusty on top and bottom lips. And dry lips, okay. His thumb and index fingers of both hands were discolored. The discoloration on his fingers and lips was consistent with holding hot, smoking pipes. End quote. All right, I don't know what kind of pipe it is that discolors your fingers. Joints might discolor your fingers if you're smoking them down to the roach, but a pipe would, never mind. So the lawyer writes, this seems a little fishy to me, and I eagerly awaited the toxicological report on the blood test. The results indicated that there was absolutely no marijuana, even in trace amounts, in the driver's blood. So much for the green tongue in the pot, right? Instead, there was methadone found in the driver's blood, as it was also found in the car. Okay, so that's Washington State. And then the Supreme Court in Utah covered a case that had to do with green tongue as well. This was State v. Heckley, I believe. They explained, quote, "We are troubled by the trooper's reliance on the appearance of Heckley's tongue as dispositive proof of marijuana use. Even if we were persuaded to accept the state's position that the condition of Heckley's eyes and tongue are presumptively suggestive of marijuana use, nothing in the record indicates either how long these conditions are sustained or how long measurable quantities of marijuana remains in the system as required by the statute." So far as it's gone in the courts, nobody can show any backing for the